we already talked about Stroud with Daniel Jeremiah yesterday because we saw him at the Combine. And I guess the Georgia game, you began to see flashes of what we're seeing now, right? But other than that, I mean, he's really taken his game to a new level. But Jordan Love, we haven't seen play football essentially in 3 years. Did you see some of this play when he was at Utah State?
He's a fun story, and just like credit to Matt Wells, who was his coach at Utah State. They were the only ones who really were in on him. And the things I've heard, so his old trainer is now a high school coach in Texas. Mm-hmm. And this guy has actually a big following among like youth training people, and just raves about Jordan's, not just his work ethic, because again, he was like 170 pounds and scrawny as could be, but just his commitment to it, but also how humble and how thankful and appreciative he was for people who worked with him on the process. You know, these guys are not, you know, Matt Wells is now as an assistant coach at Kansas State, but it's not like all of a sudden he's come from this place where it's a star factory, right? You know, he was the guy at Utah State. They had a good program then. And then he kind of drifted into the radar, and a lot of people were polarizing on Jordan Love about whether he was going to be that good. There were a lot of people who didn't think. And I just know from the people who were so rooting for him, you know, I think it was a Thanksgiving weekend maybe game, where Thanksgiving Day game,
in Detroit.
He went off.
Yeah, he did.
And there were so many people in his corner because they know what kind of guy he is. Never mind just like, oh yeah, they believed in him, but they know when he got drafted, you know, he called them. Thank you. In all
Is that right?
Yes.
I love hearing that, obviously, because we like people. I mean, hearing how guys who are excelling on the field are people in that respect. And I'm back on the Rich Eisen Show radio network with Bruce Feldman, still here from Fox Sports and The Athletic, was telling a story on the Roku channel about what a good dude Jordan Love is. And there was a video that was a photograph that went viral.
It was a photo.
Part of the game is that he helped some young lady stuck in the snow. Yep. You know, I guess he was walking out of the facility and somebody was stuck in the snow in Green Bay, and he helped her out of her situation, and she just like took a selfie with the guy who helped, and it just turned out to be Jordan Love of the Packers is about to boat race the Cowboys.
I knew the game was over at that point. I knew it was over. You think somebody
it was over.
You
know, it's pretty wild.
But just as like, you know, incredibly humble, but still knows the place he came from.
Right.
And the people who, because he was not, most of these guys, you know, certainly not Josh Allen, but most of these guys at some point were like the guy coming out of high school, and everybody worshiped them, and you know, all these coaches wooed them to get in the process. That definitely wasn't him. You know, it was basically Matt Wells at Utah State, and they were the only ones, and he was a scrawny kid who did all this, you know, and still, it's not like he's like Jalen Hurts where he's just like powerhouse, but I think he did all these things that people said, hey, you know, this will help you, and worked along the way. And I know from, especially, you know, one of them, who was like one of the trainers he had back then in Utah, just talked about how appreciative, and would, you know, when he gets drafted, hey, I want to thank you for what you did for me. You know,
I love that. Utah State versus Iowa State on Saturday night for the right to go to the NFC Championship game. Purdy versus Love. Can't make this stuff up, man. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.